Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Women Who Rock with Success Media, an award-winning show for professional women and men. Since 2014, we have provided a voice for entrepreneurs in the areas of business, marketing, advertising, public speaking, lifestyle and wellness coaching, arts and entertainment, fashion designing, interior and exterior designing, and sports. Our guest experts provide the latest information in their field while creating an educational resource for our listeners and viewers. Join us each Thursday at 9 a.m. Central Time, followed by our latest brand, Women Who Rock Investigates. Now, let's go to the studio, where our session is already in progress with your show host.
Women Who Rock with Success complies with the rules and terms according to the Federal Communications Commission podcast guidelines. The views and opinions expressed by our guests are their own, and their appearance on our digital media platforms does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent. All guests who embrace our media stations are experts who are licensed in their fields of occupation. All rights reserved.
And good morning and welcome to Women Who Rock with Success Media. This is your host, Ms. Diane Winbush, and thank you so much for tuning in, as always, with us on the show. And we also want to make another announcement that we're going to be doing streaming live videos come April, I guess want to say probably around April 2023. So we want all of our viewers and audience to be able to get ready for that as well. At this moment, we are experiencing some technical difficulties also with our Roku channel, so please be patient with us on that as well. So today we're going to be talking, we're in the month of March, but we're still doing a little Black History Month with some of our guests. And our guest today is going to be able to share with us her career, and then also in regards to an upcoming film that is going to be coming out. And so to be able to get you to be able to understand a little bit more and better with that, we have in the studio with us Miss Fung, and she's going to be able to share with us a little bit about her career and her entrepreneurial path as well. So good morning, Moy, and welcome to Women Who Rock with Success Media.
Hi there. Good morning. How are you doing?
I am doing wonderful. So we're going to get started. We're going to get a little bit about you. We want you to tell the audience a little bit about you first. We're going to get a little warm up in a little bit about some information about you. So kind of tell us, I guess, what started you on your entrepreneurial path and what was some of the, some of the things that perhaps maybe have wanted you to be able to start to be an entrepreneur.
Certainly. Well, thank you so much for having me. You know, I always tell people as it pertains to entrepreneurship, I truly believe that, the entrepreneurial spirit can be developed in many of us, but I also think that some of us are born with it, and I believe I'm one of those individuals who have been born with the entrepreneurial spirit. My journey is really one that is biographical, and what I mean by that is every single project or entrepreneurial initiative, every brand that I've created, it was all based on my own personal need and cry for help, whether it be financial support or emotional support. And that's actually how I first got started. It was, I wanted to take control of my own economy. I was a young unmarried mother with meager finances and really wanted to take control of my own economy. And that's how I first started. Now, as I journeyed, I began to, of course, gain the experience and through trial and error. I have been developed in entrepreneurship on many levels. And I developed a passion to help other women, much like myself, who first started out not knowing what to do, women with lots of passion and lots of gifts and talents and, great potential, and just didn't know how to monetize or how to go out there and make an impact in the world. So I became a certified coach in that process, and I started to help women. So that's, in short, how I got started. And,
Okay, great. Because it seems like, Moy, that the coaching industry is thriving back. I think about 5 years ago they were saying, watch Biz Tech News and what have you. Well, no, it's kind of going this way. But it seems like the coaching industry is coming back towards the entrepreneur path even stronger than ever. And I think some of that perhaps may be because of the the COVID-19 era. That may play a part, and then everyone is looking for someone to help them and assist them. Because even when it comes to coaching, and this is what we try to share with our audiences, first of all, you have to have someone, so first of all, social media is not going to do it all. And so I tried that some years ago, okay, to be able to go in and, be able to connect and partner and network with individuals, and that's good on social media. But at the end of the day, if the entrepreneur wants to be able to gain results, monetizing results for their business, they're going to have to need a coach to be able to help them, to be able to guide them through their business. So I think that is very, very important, very, very important. So, great. So tell us a little bit about that, about your coaching business, and how do entrepreneurs, what are some of the values that you offer for them? Because they're different in their coaching industry. Some people are, they coach in business, some in finances, some in, I don't know, we had someone on here doing taxes. They were coaching for taxes. And then you have individuals that coach in tranquility as well. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Certainly. So I, just to sort of backtrack a little bit, I started off, before I became a coach, I started off hosting events that were catered around women entrepreneurs, where I would have women come out who were just starting up to showcase their brands, and then I would have industry professionals come out and share with us knowledge and wisdom and how we can be developed. It was an opportunity for women to to network with each other, to learn nuggets and get tips and advice in terms of how to move forward to gain that next level of their success. But in the midst of doing that, I recognized that, number one, many other individuals after that started to do networking events and business development events and so forth. And I realized that even beyond the events, beyond the networking, beyond getting the business cards, many women did not know how to move forward. They didn't know how to utilize or maximize or leverage the individuals that they had met, the business cards that they had. They didn't know how to do any of that. Many of them still did not know how to properly register their business and so forth. So, I initially started really to provide that sort of, at the time, what it seemed like, based on the women that I was serving, to provide that support, to fill that gap where women really needed that hand-holding sort of experience, really taking them through, helping them to develop their brands, helping them to craft their mission and vision, help them to create their business plans, register their businesses, and then even, teaching them how to network effectively. So that's how it started. Now, as I progressed, because I truly believe success is a journey, and I've written a book about it, the Entrepreneur's Handbook, entitled Success is a Journey. As we go through life, as we journey in life and entrepreneurship, we learn new things, we expand, we evolve. And in that process, I started to recognize that many of the women that I was serving, there were things that were happening in the background that was not directly related to their business. And what I mean by that, their emotional well-being, was at risk. Their mental well-being was at risk. Their physical well-being was at risk. Now, with that being said, I believe God has given me that natural inclination to care about people to the level where it's more than just, helping them to develop their businesses. It's more than just ensuring that their basic necessities are met. And really, it's really caring about the inner dimension of the person. So I felt just naturally gravitated to wanting to ensure that the women that I was serving, that they were doing okay from an emotional standpoint, a mental standpoint. So I'm saying all of that to say that my niche certainly is my niche, is really dealing with like the psycho-emotional aspects of the person, even though I have functioned in the form of a business coach or entrepreneurship training and so forth. My niche really is really caring about and coaching individuals from that inner dimension, psycho emotional standpoint, where, you know, they're limiting thoughts. You know, oftentimes they have experiences in childhood or even in adulthood that really create certain mindsets within them, and those mindsets hold them back in some way, shape, or form. Now, oftentimes those mindsets are unconscious, so they're not aware that it's actually happening, and they don't realize how it's hindering their growth and hindering, them being truly effective in their businesses. So those are some of the things that I really do help individuals to identify and to work through, and I would say that is my niche.
Okay, absolutely. Because, you know, you're absolutely correct, especially with the African Americans, women in the, you know, and I think we just did a case study back here, I don't know, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and so where the African American women, it was, we were doing Black History Month, of course, and so a lot of the panel that we had, a lot of them had, undergone a lot of man-splaining in the workplace and what have you. And these were Fortune 500, women workers. And so they had undergone all of this, type of scrutiny. And they had to learn, and I think that's what they had brought out, something as to what you're saying. They had to learn, you have to learn where you are, learn where you're supposed to be, and don't be all over the place. And I do feel that sometimes with African American women, we kind of, we grab at something, but we don't really know where we actually belong. And so I think knowing where your brand is will help individuals to be able to value the individual a little bit better and more. And I've been there before too, so I'm not here trying to put anyone else on the hot seat or what have you. I was like that at first too, until I had to get some things together, had to connect with the right people, had to network with the right people, and then I had to go in and write my vision down, and then I had to also write down a mission. And then once you have those key factors in place, then you can be able to somewhat kind of move forward. And then there'll be a little help along the way as well, with other entrepreneurs and professionals to be able to help individuals as well. So I do agree with you on that. Sometimes we, as women, we kind of be all over the place, and we do need a coach to be able to help strategize and put us back in alignment. So thank you so much for that. So we're going to get into even with you're the host and the founder, and we're going to talk about Mind Your Business Brother. So when I first saw that topic, I'm like, okay, the first thing I'm going to ask her is what's the meaning, I guess, or the theme process behind that topic, because once it jumped out at me, I'm like, okay, this has got to be good. Mind your business. And I know it don't mean like, mind your own business, but this is, of course, like a mental awareness type of film or production or something like that, or movie. So first of all, we want to talk about that. We want to talk about the topic, and then we'll go in from there, because I don't want to put too many questions on you all at once. And so we're going to talk about that. Mind your business, brother.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. So Mind Your Business Brother is it is a production. So let me backtrack. So in addition to the You Inspire Me Women, which is where I coach women entrepreneurs, and not just entrepreneurs, but women in general, I also have developed a couple other brands, and Pray for the Men Global is one of those brands, where in 2020, just following the murder of George Floyd, and just right in the height of COVID, where so many things have been happening, and the things that we were seeing that were impacting our families and our loved ones and our men has been exacerbated by the COVID, right? So with that being said, God, in those moments, God had laid, it was August of 2020 when God laid it on my heart to pray for the men. But we had already, at the time I was hosting a prayer line, myself and someone else hosting a prayer line, and we were already praying for families and the communities and, all these sorts of things. So in those moments, I do believe that God had put sort of like an emphasis to come together to really diligently pray for the men. And it really started from there, and I felt that I really felt led to the point where I didn't think it was just okay, well, we'll just pray and that's it, or just wait for God to do something. I really felt like it was more so like God wanted me to create a global awareness around the issues that men were faced with throughout the world. I mean, I'm located here in Canada. I was born in Jamaica. You're currently located in the United States. Now, we're global citizens, and as we can see that, oftentimes what impacts me impacts you, as an individual. Right. So I do believe that God really wanted to create that awareness around the world, and to put emphasis in the sense of really bringing to light and not normalizing the things that we had normalized for so long. Like if you are within certain communities, fatherlessness is a big issue, but we've normalized it,
Correct.
Mental illnesses have become the norm, the increase in suicidal rates, the boys dropping out of school, there are just so many things that were happening and that was coming to light as I was led, and a group of us were led to pray for these men. And so many things that were coming to light that we really needed to address. And what I do believe is if you're led to, let's say, pray about something, it's not merely a matter of just praying and leaving it. It's how can we be a solution to some of the issues that we're faced with. Now, we have since used the platform to host and facilitate very meaningful and important conversations regarding men's issues like, male abuse, like fatherlessness, as I mentioned, mental health, mental illnesses, all that sort of stuff. We've used the platform to really foster those safe spaces and to really have those conversations where more men can begin to speak about some of the things that they often sweep under the rug, the things that we have often, sort of stigmatized or labeled them as weak. We need that to be normalized because men have feelings too. And, we truly need to honor our men and give them that space to heal and to grow, right? So out of that movement came my organization, a not-for-profit organization called Solid Rock Family Services, recognizing that the man is not independent of himself, right? Recognizing that when you look at a male person, that he's often, there's a mother involved, there's quite possibly a wife or a significant other, there are children involved. And, so we're not just looking at the man, but we're looking at the entire family. Now, how can we, so with Solid Rock Family Services, ultimately it's to build strong families and create lasting legacies, because when the men are out of place, then the whole family is out of place or out of alignment.
That's right.
Then the community is impacted. Many of the issues that we're seeing within the Black communities throughout the world is because our fathers are absent. Our children are deficient of that father's, discipline and love and guidance and the financial security and all of that stuff. And that's what creates the problems that the economic problems that we're having. That is what's happening. The boys falling out of school. There's, these are all issues that are created by fatherlessness, and we really wanted to bring a solution for that. So Solid Rock Family Services was birthed out of that. It's a not-for-profit organization focused on, of course, family services, where we provide parent coaching. We have young mothers, even older mothers who, not just mothers, but fathers who need help. They need guidance. We automatically assume that every person that becomes a parent knows how to parent. No, I've learned many things along the way, right? I've done many things incorrectly. And in fact, I said I was going to write a book about all the things not to do as a parent, because I've made my own fair share of errors, right? Financial literacy and so forth is another thing that we're not taught in school, and many of the families don't discuss it within the homes. So these are what we're seeing. The deficiencies that we're seeing within the communities are really we want to provide solutions for those deficiencies, for those gaps. So that's what Solid Rock Family Services does offer, as well as the other piece of that is the child welfare aspect. I have been privileged enough to work within the child welfare sector. Great deficiencies not just from a racial standpoint, but just overall the system in itself. And I mean, we're talking about the most vulnerable children, right? And families, right? And, you know, the other aspect of that is the great disparity. You know, Black families are 2 times more likely to be investigated, you know, investigated by child welfare. And, you know, their cases take much longer to close. And there are all these different elements of, you know, why, you know, the Black families continue to sort of, you know, not progress. So with that being said, Solid Rock Family Services was birthed. And I hope I'm answering your question. So that's the not-for-profit. And so during the Black History Month, what we did was we hosted an event that was by Pray for the Men Global and Solid Rock Family Services. And that event was called Mind Your Business, Brother. And it was really, you know, like a call to men, you know, like a call to action to men to begin to mind. You know, mind is like sort of like that word, you know, to mind, to allow their mind to become their priority, to allow their mental health to take, you know, to take the, you know, to really take it in an important way where they can, you know, really elevate their mental health in such a way where they will take care of themselves, because oftentimes within our community, it's stigmatized or labeled as weak when men become depressed or they're having emotional, emotional despair, whatever it is. Oftentimes it's not acceptable within the Black community. So this is really just a call to say, yes, we want to raise awareness around the issues that men are faced with from a mental health standpoint. And not just raise awareness. We want it to become normalized within our community, that we can have these conversations in a safe space where men are not judged and they feel safe, you know, to speak about some of these issues, and then also to build that community of individuals that, you know, we support each other. So that will be an annual event. Mind Your Business, Brother will be an annual event every, you know, I mean, Black History is all year round. But we will do it every History Month. But one of the things that we've also decided to do was, we understand that those conversations are really, really needed in our community. So we're developing a weekly sort of a weekly podcast where we will, Mind Your Business, Brother, will become a weekly discussion on, you know, platforms like YouTube and other podcasting platforms, where the men will come together. We'll have different guests on the show as well, and it will all be surrounding the mental health of Black men.
Absolutely. Yes, the question was answered well and good. And there's something that you had stated. I wanted to kind of, elaborate on that. And we did several topics or discussion, case study discussions in regards to children. I think that is very important to educate the parent. Not for sure, you know, if the child is, you know, have to be present, but certainly the parent has to, has to have the information, simply because of the fact that that children, African American children, are selected more than any other racial background in regards to when, I guess, it may be the school, it may be a neighbor, or it may even be a family member that says, hey, guess what, something is going on wrong. I'm not going to say it's going to be a family member, because we're talking about children are being put to DHS and DCS, and some of the claims are just totally actually false. I know they had an NBC nightly news investigation in regards to that about a couple of months ago, where this African-American lady was falsely accused. She had a good working job and what have you, and the school somehow attacked her for no apparent reason. And so, of course, they took it to, NBC nightly news, and that's the national news here in the United States, all over basically, I think it's over the globe. And so in regards to that, the claims were found to be not true. And so we have to be careful, in regards to that, and not only is just the parent needs to be taught, seems like it's the school system needs to be taught, or others that who we have to know the elements first. We got to get the facts first. We have to get the evidence first, because
100%.
That's the problem. Yeah, that's the problem where African American mothers are being stigmatized. They are being put on the slaughter bench, or I guess if that would be a good term. They're just, and it's becoming massive. It's becoming so massive where African American mothers are targeted for not being good parents, where they're being accused of neglecting their children and what have you. And so, mind your business, of course, would be an awesome selection, because if the male, as you stated, once he falls, the house is going to fall and hit the ground too. And if that falls, then the community is going to fall. The neighborhood is going to fall. There you got a city that has fallen. If you have an entire and I wouldn't even go far as even say it's African American. It can be any man. Once the man, relinquishes his roles, or perhaps maybe he has to go off and he's incarcerated or something like that. That brings down a big, huge ratio in that town, in that city, in that community, in that household, in that church community, in that village. And so I think it's so very important that something is created, as such as what you're doing, but we need more and more of it, where apparently maybe, say like the government agency, perhaps maybe can offer classes as well to be able to help. So the child will not be put in a position where they have to look up to their mom and say, oh, my mom may go to jail, or my mom is in trouble, and sometimes we have to have a conscience before we step out. I'm all for reporting an individual if they're not doing their job like they should as a parent. I'm 100% on board. But here in the U.S., the African-American families are really getting a hard lick behind school districts that are saying one thing, and once they go in, once DCS and DHS go behind the scenes, it's nothing like what the actual the report says. And so I think this education is very, very important. I really do. I think education is important, not school education, but I'm just talking about, sometimes the mother is going to have to stop and say, you know what, I need to stop. I need to put Facebook down, and I need to learn as to what I need to do to not get into this type of drive or this statistic, if you will, or the status quo that they are saying or they're placing on African American, and that's just not with the DCS. I think it's another one that came out on ABC News, where now they have it where the African American women are receiving less treatment, less support, less help in on the labor and delivery birthing pad, where the children is dying before they even, get to the world, and sometimes it's the mother that's passing away. So we have a huge issue here in the U.S. in regards to the African-American women and the mothers and the challenges and diversities that they're facing here for no apparent reason. Why wouldn't you help a person that is trying to, even me personally, and I'm going to share my own story, and then we're going to move to the next segment, but And this situation was not a African American physician. This physician was actually she was Canadian, African American Canadian / and so she was not supportive at all. And this has been probably about 30 years ago, and so I'm not for sure as to what is going through the physician's mindset at that time. You're getting paid to deliver a baby, and you know that it comes with a cost, because women are going to be, dramatic, when it comes to, delivering a baby and what have you. And so I don't even want to say it's just for African-American women. I know I experienced a lot and it was because of the physician, and she was not supportive. I could get up there on that table and I can show you how to do it. That's not those are not the type of context that you give to a woman, and she's trying to push out a baby and what have you. So I think education is very, very important. And this topic that you have, mind your own business, brothers, I think is very, very important to help men to know where their place is at and where they should be able to remain. Just stay there. Just don't do anything, because the system is set up for, I'm just being honest, in some areas the system may be set up for failure for certain nationalities, ethnicities, and racial backgrounds. I'm just going to be honest.
That's right.
Absolutely. So we're going to go to the next segment. And so the next segment, what we want to, talk about is the Social Rock Family Services. And I know you touched on that a little bit in regards to, what you offer and what have you. So we want to talk about some of the initial intakes and I'm going to let you list about two of that. And so if a person comes up to you and they knock on your door, your business office, and they said, Moy, I want to be able to get the support and the help. I need this. My children need this. My husband needs this. The whole family needs this. Take us through a couple of the initial intakes. What are the assessments that you provide so that you will know that this family or this mother is a match for this counseling and coaching service that you offer?
Yeah, so ultimately we go through an interview process, really, just and it's not so much done in a formal way. It's really just sitting down and having a chat with them, because we never want, when someone comes for help, we never want to interrogate them to the point where they feel like they've done something wrong, or the situation's already stressful as it is. So we tend to just have a conversation, just like you and I are having a conversation. And from that conversation, we gather the needs. We never turn anyone away, per se. If it happens to be, we never turn anyone away. Like, we will provide the support that they need in any way, shape, or form. We do have a team of professionals. We're talking about psychotherapists, child and youth workers, counselors and coaches, and financial planners and advisors. And we have a team that is well equipped to sort of address pretty much most of the issues that we have already seen. If it's a situation where we cannot, maybe provide any sort of support for them, then we will refer them to other agencies. But so the intake is fairly, it's not stringent. It is not a formal process. It's more, we sit down, we listen to their story, allow them to speak, allow them to feel, sort of not like we're not judging them. And then we're able to sort of gather, what their needs are, and then assess how we can assist them moving forward.
Okay, great. Okay. And so with the last question, of course, we want you to be able to share with us. We want to know about your debut of the Mind Your Own Business, because you're the host and the founder of it. And then we want the listeners and the audience to be able to know where they can be able to pick that up, or whether it can be able to be viewed, or what have you. And then you can also share your website links, your social media handles, and then any upcoming speaking engagements or releases that you have. You can be able to share that with the audience at this time, okay?
Sure. I think I heard you ask about how to share the content in terms of social media sort of links and so forth. Well, I can be reached on pretty much all social media platforms at Moy Fung or Moy Fung Incorporated on Instagram. On LinkedIn, it's also Moy Fung. So pretty much if you Google Moy Fung, solidrockfamilyservices.com and so forth, youinspiremewomen.com. So, you can reach out in any way, directly through email is moyfunginc@gmail.com.
Okay, great. So thank you so much for being our guest today, and we have learned so much in the discussion in regards to Mind Your Business, Brother, and we thank you for taking the time and the opportunity to be with us in the studio today, and of course we wish you well with your upcoming endeavors, and everyone, just meet us back over on the 9th. We have some impeccable guests that we have coming up on Women Who Rock with Success Media, and so everyone, thank you for tuning in and joining us with us on today. Thank you for being our guest on today, Maury.
I appreciate being on the show. Thank you so much for having me.